So today I'm going to teach you 3 simple steps that are going to help you speak fluently in English like a native English speaker about events. But before we begin, I need to let you know something. You see, I have a goal. My goal is to help 1 billion students around the world speak English with confidence. But I can't do it alone. I need your help. And I need you to do 3 simple things. I need you to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel. Here we go. Like, share, subscribe. Come on. I said like, share, subscribe. Last time, like, share, and subscribe. I'm Teacher Tiffani. Let's jump right in. All right, step number 1, describe the setting. First, you need to describe when the event happened. Remember that this needs to be a thorough explanation. What you're doing is basically painting a picture in the mind of the person listening to you. That's right, you're setting this stage and helping the listener see or visualize the story you are about to tell them. So again, in other words, by the end of this part, the person listening to you should be able to visualize the exact time period. So imagine if I was telling you a story, and this story is about a dinner that my friends and I put on for our Korean teachers. A true story. Now, according to step number 1, I must first describe the setting. So around 2013, I was studying Korean and in the evening after our classes. So I've organized my thoughts so that I can describe the setting to you. So here we go. It was about 2013. It's a true story. And I was studying Korean at a university, Sungkyunkwan University. And we had really great Korean teachers. But we also noticed how hard they worked. We would have classes, I think about maybe 7 hours a day. In between, of course, there was a long break, but we had classes for a large portion of the day. And we realized that if we were in class for so many hours, the teachers must have been working overtime in order to prepare the information that we needed to learn in class. So we said, you know what? We want to do an event for our teachers. But we realized the event had to happen in the evening because we had classes all day. So I finished step number 1. I set the stage. Now you are aware of kind of what was going on when this event occurred. But I want to give you some idioms that will help you also speak about the time or the setting when you are talking about an event. So here are the idioms that are going to really help you. A race against time, all the time in the world, and bad time. So the first one, a race against time. Now, this just means you use this when you're trying to accomplish something critical in a short time frame. So think about when you are preparing for an exam or a test, right? You really are trying to study hard, but you don't have enough time. So you are racing against time. So let me show you some examples using this idiom. Here we go. It was a race against time to find a cure for the disease. Next, they are in a race against time. And finally, he said it's a race against time to get the building finished before the winter season starts. So you see this kind of deadline that someone is trying to actually beat the deadline. So how can we use a race against time to speak about the situation I am talking about, the event I'm telling you about? Here we go. Let me show you how I could use this idiom. I could say, it was a race against time to find the right venue. And venue just referring to the location where we were going to have the dinner. So we can use this idiom, a race against time, during step number 1. Now, the next idiom that you could use when you're speaking about the event is all the time in the world. Now, this just means an unlimited amount of time. It means you have no limits. You can spend as much time as you like watching these videos or doing something else, but you have all the time in the world. So here are some example sentences right here. He made me feel as if I had all the time in the world to watch the movie. Next, don't worry, we have all the time in the world. And finally, the teacher gave the students all the time in the world to finish their projects. So again, step number one, you're talking about the setting or the time period. And this idiom, all the time in the world, can also be used when you are speaking about the setting of the event. So what about the event I'm telling you about with the Korean teachers and this dinner that we prepared for them? How can I use all the time in the world to speak about the event and the setting? Here we go. Let me show you how you can do this. Right here. We felt like we had all the time in the world. So you see, I'm talking about the setting, the time period, and we felt like, hey, we have all the time in the world to prepare for this event. Okay? All right. Now, the other idiom that you can use when you're speaking about the setting or step number one is right here. Bad time. Now, this just means an inconvenient moment or an unfortunate experience. So here's the first example sentence. Sorry, you called at a bad time. It means it wasn't a convenient time. All right. Next, we have this one right here. This is a bad time. And finally, that call came at a bad time. So we see that this is a very simple expression, very simple idiom to use. Again, just an inconvenient moment. So what about the event? If I'm explaining the event that we did for the Korean teachers, the dinner, and I'm on step number one, talking about the setting, how can I use the idiom bad time to talk about the event setting? Let me show you. Here's what I said. My friend wanted to attend, but it was a bad time because she had a previous engagement. What happened? So I said the setting, right? But, my friend couldn't come because it was a bad time for her. She had a previous engagement. Again, giving some more background information about the setting and the time period. So again, step one, give some background information about the setting. Now let's move on to number two. Step number two, give the three main details. You need to describe the three most important aspects of the event. Remember that these details need to be specifically about the event. In other words, instead of general details, you need to give details specifically about the event and not similar events. So think really hard about the event you're speaking about. What made it unique? What made it important? So what about the event I'm telling you about? The dinner we did for the Korean teachers. Now, here are some details that are very important about the dinner. All right, so here are the details. A big auditorium, a talent show program, and gifts and food. So let me tell you some more about the actual event. So we had the event in a huge auditorium on the campus, right? So the head of our program helped me find a big auditorium that was perfect because there were literally hundreds of students in our program, and we had a lot of teachers, so we needed a big venue. So we got this big auditorium. It was really nice, lots of seating. There was a big open area, and there was a stage. So we were in the auditorium. We came about maybe 3 hours before the program started because we wanted to get everything set up. Now, the program also included a talent show and also a presentation aspect. So what happened was there were students from all around the world because we all came to Korea and we were learning Korean together. So students, actually, there were some students who danced, some students who sang, and other things were put on to entertain the teachers, to show the teachers how much we appreciated them. And then we also had a section where we gave the teachers gifts. Now, one of my good friends, she's Chinese and she's an amazing artist. So she actually drew pictures, drew pictures of all of the teachers, had them framed, and then they were given as gifts to the teachers. So it was really a huge event. The food was awesome as well. We had it catered. Teachers enjoyed the food. They enjoyed the program, and we had an amazing time. So now we need to look at some words that will help you speak about the details when you're talking about an event. Here are some useful words: monumental, remarkable, and world class. Now, monumental. This is a word that means great in importance, extent, or size, or very great. Now, remember I told you the auditorium was very big, right? So this again, we can use this word to describe things or to give part of the details for step number 2. But let's look at some example sentences using this word monumental. Here we go. First, we saw many monumental sculptures. Next, this is a monumental task. And finally, I think this may be a monumental waste of time. So again, monumental is just another way of describing something that is large or very important. So how can I use it to speak about this this dinner we put on for our Korean teachers? Here we go. I can say this like this. The dinner was a monumental event. Makes sense, right? It was a huge event. It was really important. You got it, right? Okay, now another word you can use when you're following step number 2, remarkable. All right, again, remarkable. Now this means worthy of attention, exceptional, interesting, or excellent. This is a very useful English word and a word that you can use as you move to step number 2 to give the main details of the event you are speaking about. Now, I want to pause real quick because I have something remarkable to share with you. You see, this video is being sponsored by Cambly, and Cambly wants to give you a gift. We have a special challenge. So we're learning words, and these words are very important. Here's the challenge. This word, remarkable. I want you to take this word and make a sentence using this word, remarkable. Now, you have to put your sentence in the comment section. And what's going to happen is Cambly is going to give one special student 3 months of free tutoring. Listen, I know. 3 months of free tutoring. That's right. 3 months meeting 3 times a week for 30 minutes each time. Totally for free. Now, I'm going to be able to pick the winner, but I'm going to do it randomly. And all you have to do is using this word remarkable. You're going to make a sentence and you're going to put this sentence in the comment section. And then I'm going to go through the comments in 24 hours and I'm going to see which student is going to win. So I want to thank Cambly. They're an amazing company. They really want to help students just like you improve their English and speak with confidence. So Cambly, thank you for sponsoring this video. I love working with you all. Again, students, here's the challenge. Using the word remarkable, you need to make a sentence and put your sentence in the comment section. Then in 24 hours, I will go to the comment section and randomly choose a student, and that student will win the 3 months of free tutoring with a Cambly tutor. All right. Now, for those that don't win, don't worry. There's still going to be another coupon for you where you can get a discount to actually study with Cambly tutors. So again, Cambly, thank you very much. Everyone, pay attention as we look at remarkable so you can make your own sentence and put it in the comment section. All right. Okay, here we go. So again, worthy of attention, exceptional, interesting, or excellent. That was a remarkable achievement. Next, it was a remarkable sight. And finally, he was a remarkable man. Now, how can we use this to talk about the event I told you about with my teachers? Let me show you. Here's what I can say. The food was remarkable. And that's very true. The food, woo, it was good. So the food was remarkable. Now, what about this word right here? World class. This is kind of a hyphenated word, but an expression we use. It says ranking among the world's best or outstanding. We say this when we want to say something was out of this world. Amazing. We can say world class. So let's see some example sentences. Here we go. They have a world class orchestra. Next, he's a world class athlete. And finally, I have always wanted to be a world-class swimmer. So you see, this is kind of connected to excellence, being the best, doing really well. So how can we use world class to speak about the event we put on for our teachers? Let me show you. Here we go. We all wanted to put on a world class event for our teachers. You see, right? I was able to use this word, this hyphenated word group, this expression to describe some of the details related to the event. Step number 2, giving the 3 main details. Now, what about step number 3? This is also a very important step when you're trying to speak fluently about an event. You need to explain how it changed you. You need to tell us how it affected you. Remember, this needs to be a clear description of how the event changed you. In other words, compare yourself now to how you were before the event. This is something that is very important for you as an English learner to understand and to remember. When you're speaking in English, when you're describing something, you're not just describing the current state of that thing or the actual thing that happened at the event. You want to also talk about the before and the after. The before being the setting, the after being how it changed you. So let's see, again, speaking about the Korean teachers and the dinner we put on. So it showed me the power of teamwork and recognizing people's gifts. Let me explain what I mean. I told you there were hundreds of students from around the world. China, Bangladesh, all of these countries coming together, Japan, America, Canada, Europe. We had a lot of students from around the world, and we all had to come together to create this program for the teachers, this event. So I learned the power of recognizing different people's strengths, right? Because again, we were all learning Korean. That doesn't mean we all spoke English. So we were all operating on our second languages, trying to figure out how to work together. And it taught me so much about how when you have a common goal and you are all deciding to work together, you can accomplish amazing things. And honestly, I never forgot that lesson because as I watched the event unfold and I watched the teachers' faces and how happy they were, and as the students were up front acting and singing, and I was in the background on the computer, it really made me smile because I realized how much everyone loved the teachers. So I learned a lot from this event. So now what about some idioms I can use to talk about the event and what I learned and that you can use as well? Here we go. Useful idioms: to turn over a new leaf, to take shape, and to have a change of heart. So to turn over a new leaf means to make a fresh start, to change one's conduct or attitude for the better. Remember, I told you after the event, I realized the power of teamwork and working together. So let's see some example sentences. Here we go. He promised the teacher he would turn over a new leaf and behave himself in class. Next, the little girl turned over a new leaf and decided to study hard. And finally, it's time for you to turn over a new leaf. Now, how can I use this idiom to speak about the event and what I learned or what someone learned from the event? Some students turned over a new leaf and decided to study harder. You see how I used the idiom, right? After the event, there were certain students that were like, man, our teachers are amazing. We're going to study harder. Makes sense, right? Okay, now the second idiom you can use for this step is right here. To take shape. And this just means to assume a distinct form or to develop into something definite or tangible. Think about it. When you have an idea, it's really just in your mind, right? But as you see things start to come together, as we started seeing students coming together, getting on stage, singing, teachers walking in the room, we realized that things were taking shape. Makes sense, right? All right, so let's see some example sentences using this idiom. Here we go. We watched the vase begin to take shape in the potter's hands. Next, our ideas are beginning to take shape. Similar to what I said a few moments ago, right? Here we go. And finally, the Olympic Games are beginning to take shape. Good. So what about what I can say? I realized that all the plans took shape because we worked together. You see what I did right there, right? I told you what lesson I learned, and I used the idiom to take shape. You can do the same thing when you get to step 3 when you're describing an event to speak fluently. All right. Now, the last idiom is also good. This idiom is right here. To have a change of heart. It means you change your opinion or the way you feel about something. So here we go. She was going to sell her house, but she had a change of heart. He had a change of heart after he talked to his wife. And finally, I had a change of heart at the last minute and decided to give him the money. So we see this change of heart being, again, you're changing your opinion or the way you think. So what about our event, right? The Korean teacher event. Our teacher was thinking about leaving, but she had a change of heart after the event. So again, you're seeing how these idioms can be used in step number 3. This is how you speak fluently about an event in English. Now, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you want to see the practice worksheet and also part 2, where I explain literally how to go through these steps and practice at home, even when you're alone, you can really check out everything that needs to be done by clicking the link in the description to watch part 2. If you're already a student of my academy, you can watch it with no problem. If you're not a member of our family just yet and you are ready to take your English to the next level, please go to letsjumprightin.com, join today, and you can watch part 2 and see the worksheet. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed teaching you this lesson. I hope these 3 simple steps help you. Remember the challenge, though. Don't forget, write your sentence in the comment section using the word we talked about, remarkable. And in 24 hours, I will select a winner, and that winner will get 3 months of tutoring for free with Cambly, meeting 3 times a week for 30 minutes. So again, Cambly, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Students, I'm looking forward to reading your sentences, and I know a winner is coming soon. I'll talk to you guys next week. Remember to speak English. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right. So, I scratched myself. Today's story is actually about an event, a very special event that happened to me. So, many of you know, again, that I worked for NASA, and you know that I left NASA and that I went to South Korea to become a missionary English teacher. However, in between that time of quitting NASA and going to South Korea, I did a few other things in America. I actually had an art show. So I want to tell you about my first big art show. So this is what happened. I left my job at NASA and I was at home with my family. I sold my house and moved back home with my parents. And I decided that I wanted to have a big art show, and I wanted to do paintings and draw pictures of homeless people. I wanted to share the message that we have to help those who are in need around us. So it took me about a full year to produce multiple paintings and multiple drawings that were very large. And I wanted to have this big art show. So I was able to rent, our church has a big auditorium. I was able to rent the auditorium for the event. So it was going to be on a Sunday afternoon, and I had everything set up. I was going to get all of these big easels. Now, the thing is, my friends surprised me because I had moved away and I was again staying with my family. So my college friends decided to surprise me and come to the event. So there were about, I think, eight of them. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think there were about 8 individuals who drove up. Some of them were from Texas, some were from Alabama. They came from all around the United States, and they drove up, and some flew up to support me in this event. So they came, they stayed at my family's house. We all stayed together. I mean, this event, honestly, it was a very special moment for me because I realized how much my friends loved me and I realized how much I loved them. So we all came together, we stayed at my house, and it was the day of the event. Right before the event, the night before the event, we all had to go and we had to set things up. They were going to help me set things up. So the thing is, there were three things that happened. First, to set up the event, we had all of the easels. It took probably about 4 or 5 hours to set everything up. It was a lot of work, but my friends, they said, hey, Tiff, we're here for you. We want to help you. So they helped me set up everything. It took about 4 hours. And we had all the paintings set up, lined up very nicely. And one of my friends had music playing on in the background. And as we were finishing setting up everything, they said, hey, Tiff, we should dance. Like, let's have a good time, like, kind of dancing around. So we all started dancing. Again, we're all friends. So it was nothing, there was just dancing and having a good time. And so we're all dancing around. And I just remember how happy I was at that moment and how happy my friends looked as well. It was like we were all they were supporting me, but I realized, like, man, it's such a beautiful thing to have good friends. So we kept dancing, had a good time. Then once we were finished dancing, we went back to my house. Everyone slept at our house. We had a big breakfast the next morning, and then we all went to the venue. We all went to the church for the actual program. And again, they stayed all day. They helped me with the event. We had some little snacks for those that came to the event, and a lot of my family and friends came and supported. A lot of art was sold. And I just, again, remember that event being something that showed me the importance of supporting your friends and being there for them when they need you. And I never forgot that. They know who they are. I really appreciate all of you. And just a reminder that when you love your friends, be there for them and they won't forget you. So yes, the event, again, a lot of art sold. We had a good time dancing the night before. When the event actually happened, lots of people came, lots of art was sold, and it was an event that I will never, ever forget. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's story. I hope you enjoyed the lesson as well. Remember to comment so that you can be a part of the challenge to see if you win the free 3 months of tutoring from Cambly. I'll see you guys next week. Have an awesome day.